we looked at life as one big party. That's why people became musicians a lot of times. But eventually found out, and even the hard way, that the body and sanity won't go along with that approach for very long. See? So part of my reason for talking to you is to try to spare you going, too far, because the results are really bad. Some of you might wonder why alcohol and drug abuse is so prevalent with entertainers, even to the point of killing themselves at a young age, and why you often see them going to rehab. I'm going to spell out the reasons that happens later. I mean, like, here's these entertainers. You think that they're at the top of life by some people's standards. They're making a lot of money. They have a lot of fame. They have a great lifestyle of just doing concerts. So then why do they end up abusing alcohol and drugs and even killing themselves? Well, I'll explain that a little later because I know a lot of them. But these reasons find parallels in every alcohol and drug user and abuser's life. Every performance has a new audience and therefore needs to be fresh and peak. I mean, if you go to a concert, this will be the first time you've seen the concert, you expect it to be peak. You expect it, because it'll be the first time. But for the performer, it might be the 100th time they've done that show. And it's kind of worn off. The freshness is worn off. So they use alcohol and drugs to try to, perk up the performance. Well, this can find a parallel in job performance, in everyday life. See? I mean, if you feel that there's something expected of you at your job or in your relationship or by your friends, and you're just not feeling that, see? So sometimes people use alcohol and drugs to try to control it. I mean, see, really, we're in these bodies with hearts and minds, and we're experimenting through life. We're saying, well, listen, I'm going to try this way, see how I feel. Then I'm going to try this way, see how I feel. Well, there are good feelings that come when your life is together, when you're in a committed relationship, when you've got a great job, when you're a very giving person, and you're not doing alcohol and drugs. Since then, there has been new wave, punk rock, heavy metal, and rap, all of which are anger and pain based to express the tension from not living in harmony with nature. The 50s music versus today. It's falling in love is a very beautiful thing. It's a very just like wonderful feeling. It's a high. It's a big high. And the music at the time when that was popular fell right in with it, like in the 50s. The music was romantic, it was beautiful, it was peaceful. People were really happy together. Couples were really happy together. And so I grew up with that. See, in other words, if we end up feeling better by drinking or doing a drug, but it has these kickers of, throwing up or, drunk driving accidents, then maybe we ask ourselves, okay, we now know that we can feel better. Can we feel better naturally? And the answer is yes. Trying to wipe the inner slate clean and get a fresh perspective on life. That's a lot of time why kids go away to college. They want to go to another city because now they can get in touch with who they really are without the pressure of where they grew up, their friends and family. Now, each new generation tries to improve on the status quo, developing a vision and a plan for how that can be done. I mean, here you guys are, brand new out of childhood, and you've got the freedom now to do whatever you want, pretty much. And so, what are you going to do? How are you going to approach life? Do you see problems in the way people have approached life up until now? And can you think of a better way? And that's really the mantle that's placed upon each generation of your age. Okay, I'll give you one technique here. This is a great technique. If you're wanting to get in harmony with your heart and your body, go into your room, close the door, turn off the light, get a pencil and paper next to you, and just throw it out to your heart and just say, what do I really want in life? Then don't get involved here. Don't let your mind come in and say, oh yeah, I want to do this or I want to do that. No, don't do that. Just say, what do I really want in life? And then when it comes up, when the image comes into your mind, write it down. And then work to achieve it. It's that simple. Because see, if you pick away, like I said, I went into engineering, although I really wanted to be in music. If you pick away that your heart doesn't want to go along with, it's going to eventually come out in the wash at some point. See? The heart will only support what it wants. If you pick, like you want to go the clean, natural route, keep company with others who are trying to do the same thing. And part company with those who aren't. Because spiritual osmosis and peer pressure, will influence you. Peace through service. Try volunteering for something. See your job, whatever job you have, as serving. There's a natural high that comes from that. You have a voice in you right here. And that voice is there all the time. And it's not you. It's your intuition. It knows the best stuff, the best ways that you should go. Okay? Listen to that voice. Get in harmony with that voice. That's one of the best things that I've ever learned in my life. Because you're going to fight it if you don't. You're either going to flow with it or you're going to battle it. And a big moment for my life was when I just finally decided, I said, am I going to continue to sacrifice my inner peace for outer peace with the people I was around? And I recognized, that's the problem. That's the problem. That's why I'm not happy. I'm sacrificing my inner peace. So I decided to make this the constant and that the variable, rather than the other way around. And it worked. Conclusion, putting it all into perspective. The path of relying on alcohol and drugs to feel good and to not feel bad is dangerous and a downward spiral of dysfunction and bad effects. That's relying on them. It is also irresponsible to your health, mate, children, job, and society, especially when driving. But it also isn't necessary. There are better and higher ways to feel good and have peace and deep fulfillment. And that's the approaches I just talked about. Common comment is, I don't want to be told what to do. And I understand that. I won't read that whole thing. I understand that, especially at your age right now. You don't want to be told what to do, maybe because you've been told what to do all your life. See? So now you're making a stand. You're making a statement. I'm independent. I'm going to make my own decisions in life. I'm going to choose my own way. But true freedom is being in charge, which I just described, and making smart decisions after weighing all the facts. See, you don't want to have blind rebellion because that's where you get in trouble with the alcohol and drugs. So being that cultural morals can't be relied upon for absolute standards of what's good and what isn't, then what can be relied upon? And that's the thing that I told you. It's inside of you, being in harmony with yourself, your inner self. Okay, final thoughts. Taking LSD is playing Russian roulette with your sanity. Abusing drugs and alcohol is playing Russian roulette with your life and health. And speaking of Russian roulette, sex with a partner who doesn't have a chaste past is a 50-50 Russian roulette with an STD. Those are the statistics, 50% of under 25. Stolen euphoria produces hangovers, come-downs, and tragedies. So with alcohol and drugs, you're kind of like stealing euphoria in a way. It didn't come naturally. And so nature has a way of responding to that in a negative way. Natural highs are the property of nature and are released according to its rules. See? So, the best thing to do, it's like if you're going to play the sax, I just don't go up there with the drumstick and start banging on the sax. It was made to play a certain way. And when I get that down, then it sounds good. Well, there's a line in a hippie song that said, that I thought was right on the money. It said, wonderful is what you feel in you when you do the things you're made to do. See? So when you do the things you're made to do, you feel good. So that's the smartest decision. It's a battle that you can't win. You can't fight nature and win. Okay, though cultures and mainstream ways change, the basic design of human beings doesn't. And like I said, each individual and new generation can make a fresh attempt to get more in harmony with that basic design from which the good feelings flow. And correct and not buy into the errors in the present culture. So I hope I inspired you in that way, and that's my presentation.